After 3 months of using the Apple iPhone 6s Plus, I've switched back to Android and I've been using the Huawei Nexus 6P for 3 days now. In this first impressions video, I'm talking about the good, the bad, the things that can use improvements, and most importantly, whether I'm going to stick it out with the Nexus 6P or whether I'm going to switch back to another Android device or perhaps even back to the Apple iPhone 6s Plus. I'm Aaron Baker. Join me and we'll find out together whether this is the ultimate Android device or perhaps it's another device altogether. It's been 3 days since I got the Nexus 6P in the mail, and I've been using it as my personal device for the past 3 days. So most of this week, actually all of this week, from Monday to Thursday, I've been using it as my personal device after 3 months of using the iPhone 6s Plus, and after many, many years of using Android devices of all shapes and sizes as my primary devices. My question is, one, is this the next device for me? Is the Nexus 6P going to be the device I carry in my pocket on a regular basis? And two, is this a device you should consider? If you're upgrading or considering a new device, should you consider this over other devices such as the iPhone 6s Plus, the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, all of these other hot devices that are on the market right now, Motorola's flagship lineup, you got LG's flagship lineup with the V10, all of these amazing devices out on the market right now. Is this a device that you should consider? But first of all, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to check out, if you haven't already, if you're watching this through a link on Twitter, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Aaron Baker Online. Subscribe to the channel. Hopefully I'll have some time to do more videos as time goes on. But I want to talk about the Nexus 6P and my first impressions with this device. As you can see, I've got the box right here. I'm going to kind of get that out of the way, but I kind of obliterated that device, or that box rather, in the process. But you can see Nexus 6P here, just kind of what it looks like. The sleeve that it came in, I got so excited on Monday, I didn't really have time for an unboxing. I jumped right in to the device itself. Try Google Play Music for 90 days. Instruction manuals with a SIM card removal tool. You've got a USB cable here, and then, as you can see, conspicuously absent in the box, a micro USB charging cable and an AC adapter there as well. It's USB Type-C, so keep that in mind if you're upgrading to this device from another Android device or another device with traditional USB, micro USB. You're going to need to buy all new cables. Fortunately, the device comes with one, but consider buying one or two more for the office, for the car, etc. But let's dive in. Nexus 6P, couple of things I love right out of the gate about this device. This device is a beautiful phone. It fits really well in the hand. I love this size device at 5.7 inches screen real estate wise. It fits really, really well in the hand. The hump here isn't as noticeable as I thought it was going to be. Really, I don't notice it at all, but when I do notice it, it actually reminds me of the Droid X. So shout out to several years ago, Droid X and Droid X2, all those devices that Motorola made with the hump on the back. But anyway, Nexus 6P fingerprint sensor here on the back as well. Really a beautiful, well-crafted device. And you can buy this now in 4 colors, aluminum frost, gold, and granite. I chose the aluminum 64GB model. And you can see it's a beautiful device. Power button and volume rocker on the side. Front-facing speakers there, obviously, as you would expect on the front. Beautiful display, Quad HD display. It just fits really well in the hand and feels good to boot. And you can see size-wise, it's very similar in terms of, well, that's upside down, but you can see very similar to the iPhone 6s Plus in terms of size, although we'll say there's a little bit more bezel on the iPhone 6s Plus with its 5.5-inch display as opposed to the larger 5.7-inch display on the Nexus 6P. So things that I like about this device, the body is amazing. The screen off notifications as well. So let me turn the device off, put it down, and see if I can lift it up and show you what I'm talking about here. The clock will come on, and depending on the movement that you have on the device, you'll see the clock will come on. And if you have notifications, email notifications, there it is, or Google Hangouts perhaps, they'll all show up below this, which is really nice. So when you get a text, you get a Google Hangout, you get an email, it doesn't turn the display on, it cuts down on power, saves the battery a little bit longer, which even at 3,450 milliamp hours is a great thing to have. So I really enjoy that feature. I think it's cool. It kind of reminds me of what Motorola did with the Moto X and some of the other devices that they made. Really appreciate that feature. The one thing I do like as well, in addition to the body, I like the placement of the headphone jack. You got a headphone jack up here at the top, which for me, this is kind of a personal weird one, but I work out quite a bit, and it sits in a little pocket on the treadmill or on the elliptical, and easier to plug in to the headphone jack right there. Other thing I like as well, the Google integration, as you would expect. Things that I don't like about iOS devices, I therefore like about Android devices. Google integration here is second to none, as you would completely expect. Phenomenal across the board on this device. Now that we've talked about the good stuff, let's talk about some of the improvements that I think stock Android needs, and perhaps even the Nexus 6P needs, depending on whether it's a hardware or software thing. Number one, this is a Google thing. You've heard me talk about it for years. I'm going to talk about it until the end of time or until Google fixes it, which very well may be the end of time. Physical percentage for the battery. And now they fix this to an extent, technically, if you want to get really technical about it, with System UI. It's super small, it's not functional, it fits right there in the tiny little battery indicator. There's a number that's super small, I can't even see it from where I'm sitting right now. It's 60-something%, really, really tiny. It's not hard. Every other OEM is doing this, Google. They're adding a physical percentage with their battery life stuff. So I would love to be able to look down and say, hey, 64%, instead of scrolling down, scrolling in, seeing 79%. Oh, it's actually at 79%. Having to do that, it would be so much easier to have it right here. It's a physical number. It's not hard to do. Please, please, please fix that. That's a big one for me. Another feature that I use on a pretty regular basis that I didn't realize I would miss as much as I do is continuity on iOS. So there's no really great option for Android to send text messages from your desktop. There are some alternatives. AirDroid is the one I was using this week just to kind of test it out. It's not nearly as functional. I was having some connectivity issues with it as well. Not nearly as fleshed out as continuity, particularly given the fact that you can use it across multiple iOS devices. So if you have an iPad, an iPhone, a MacBook Pro, etc., you can use continuity across all those devices, not only get your text, but in most cases, receive your phone calls as well. Really miss that feature. I use that all the time at work. Instead of picking up my phone constantly in meetings, I can type from my computer if I'm sending an email or in a meeting or something like that. The other one, lack of visual voicemail. And there are some options in Google Play that you can get visual voicemail. Umail is a popular free alternative, but again, should be baked in. It's 2016. It's a feature that really every device should have. Again, every other OEM and or carrier, depending on your situation, is doing visual voicemail. It's not hard to do, should be on the device. And last but certainly not least, the setup of home screens. For me, I'm very much a fan of the way OEMs have done this, where I can either pinch down and actually have a little bit more creative control over my home screens. As it stands right now, for example, if I have my calendar widget or calendar shortcut rather, I have to continue. Let's go ahead and actually, you know what, stick it right there. Pop that down. And let's do clock, for example. And that's the only way I can get additional home screens. Instead of having creative control, for me, I like to have my home screen right smack dab in the middle there. Can't do that with stock Android. It's kind of a frustration. That's a stock Android thing. Again, most of these are stock Android things, but back to the hardware from a Huawei standpoint, phenomenal speakers on this device. It sounds fantastic. The camera has been great so far. Really appreciate the way that the camera looks, and the battery life has been great as well. It's been one of the better Android devices that I've used. It's on par with the Note 5. I'm still doing some battery testing, so not fully fleshed out there, but overall really impressed with this device all around. It fits great in the hand, love the feel of it, love the screen real estate. The other thing that I would perhaps maybe change if it were a future device, I would put, and this is another personal thing, but I would put the fingerprint sensor on the front. Maybe it's just because I'm used to the iPhone 6s Plus, that could be a thing, but I will say it's super responsive, incredibly fast. One tap, and I'm in to my device and ready to rock and roll in the Nexus 6P. Keep it locked right here on the YouTube channel. We'll have a lot more. I say will. I'll have a lot more about the Nexus 6P right here at youtube.com/AaronBakerOnline. In the meantime, let me know what you want to see covered with the Nexus 6P. I'm on Twitter at Aaron C. Baker. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/HiAaronBaker. I'm on the YouTubes. You're probably watching that right now. I'm on Vine. I'm on everything. Email me as well, Aaron@AaronCBaker.com. Thanks so much for watching. Much more to come on Google and Huawei's flagship device for both late 2015 and early 2016, the Nexus 6P, right here on this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.